The Bengals are putting a lot of pressure on one of their earliest draft picks, and his goal for the season needs to reflect that pressure. So in this video, I'll explain why the Bengals need him to succeed right away. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and we are wrapping up our Bengals rookie goal series where I give one goal to each of the Bengals' first 3 draft picks for them to accomplish as rookies. Now, for a quick recap, the goal that I gave out to first-round pick Shamar Stewart was to have a pass rush win rate of at least 10% this season. And for second-round pick Demetrius Knight Jr., my goal for him was to limit his missed tackles to 12 or fewer this season. So now that we get to third-round pick Dylan Fairchild, my goal for him is going to be a lot simpler compared to the first 2. And honestly, I don't think it needs to be any more complicated than this. Dylan Fairchild's goal is to start all 17 games this regular season. This goal is entirely based around the pressure that is already on Fairchild as a 22-year-old rookie. Because the Bengals didn't surprise me when they released Alex Kappa prior to free agency. What did surprise me was their lack of aggression to replace him in free agency. The only addition they made to that position group before the draft was free agent Lucas Patrick, who signed a slightly more expensive version of a veteran minimum deal relative to his experience as a 32-year-old player. Frankly, the lack of seriousness the Bengals have showcased at the guard spot this offseason is very disturbing. It's not surprising considering it's always been a position that's been devalued in their eyes, but nonetheless, for having an offense as capable as this offense led by Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, you would have expected at least more attention to be placed on the guard spot. And maybe in their eyes, they did pay enough attention to it because the way that they've talked about Fairchild since drafting him indicated that they see him as an incredible value pick even for being a third-round pick. A lot of people expected the Bengals to draft a guard probably with that second-round pick because that seemed to be where the value matched the talent of this draft class at that position. And had the Bengals waited to draft a guard until day 3, maybe in the 4th round, you would have expected them to address the position again in free agency following the draft. This is what made the 3rd round an interesting inflection point for the Bengals at that position because you would still like 3rd-round picks to become immediate starters on a team that definitely needs them like the Bengals, but when you're drafted that late and outside of the first 60-50 picks, the expectations of you being a quality starter out of the gate are a lot lower. But as soon as Fairchild was drafted, he was discussed as being the favorite to start at left guard for this team. So if he doesn't win that battle in training camp, that's already a big red flag, but it's not like he could just go into the season, become the starter, and then everything is just, all bets are off. He's got to maintain that spot throughout the entirety of the year, outside of unexpected injuries, because no one can predict that. No one can fault Dylan Fairchild for running into those. But outside of those circumstances, it would be a concerning look for him to come in, win the starting battle, but then struggle in his rookie season to the point where they have to look at alternative options. It would be concerning not only just for him, but for the coaching staff and the personnel department who made this decision in the first place. When you're talking about this year specifically, they need Fairchild to be a consistent quality contributor more than probably any of the other 5 draft picks that they made. Because if they moved on from a troubling guard tandem in Cordell Volson and Alex Kappa, and they found that their biggest investment in replacing one of those guys isn't working out immediately, that's not a good sign. And so long as Fairchild doesn't prove to be one of the very worst players at his position, he's probably going to last in this spot for the entirety of the 17-week schedule. Because it is best for players in this position who need a lot of on-field development to actually get that on-field development in games. And the only way that that doesn't happen is if something unexpectedly goes horribly wrong. So for Dylan Fairchild, it's very simple. Get on the field, stay on the field. We'll see what the results are at the end of the season.